Hello again, folks. So for this video, I decided not to just do like an unboxing because, well, it's a little bit more difficult for me anyways, to do like an unboxing of something as large as a computer tower while trying to film it. I don't really have the setup to do like a really fancy sort of video in that regard. But what I decided to do instead was to go over some of the features of this enclosure that I really like. As with all of the videos I've done so far, you can get a lot of information about every single one of these components that I've looked at. But I just wanted to point out just some of the things that I think are particularly nice about this case. I want to start with just the look of it. I think it's really clean looking, especially when you have the sides on and things like that. Down below here, you can just maybe make out the NZXT logo. This obviously is the NZXT H500i. Now the I comes from the fact that it has this little doohickey right here on the back, or inside the back side panel. This is a control hub for fans and for RGB lighting. I was a little intimidated by doing a build like this. I've never done anything with RGB before, and I've always just done my own fan cable management and stuff like that. And looking at this now, I am really pleased with how easy this is going to make the build. I just can't I'm not even able to comprehend just yet just how much nicer it's going to be having this thing. For one thing, the fans that it came with are already wired in. So this thing is basically plug and play. So the back case fan and the upper case fan are wired to this device and they are ready to go. Now, if I wanted to add more fans, I don't have to really mess around too much. It has this really nice offshoot connector for 3 more case fans that are ready just to plug in, and they'll plug directly into this hub, and I don't have to deal with plugging into the motherboard. I think that is incredible. Now, this does plug into the motherboard itself through a couple of different, well, actually just one cable that goes to the motherboard, and it's this guy right here. This plugs into a USB 2.0 connector on the motherboard, and this is where it gets its intelligence. The motherboard can talk to it through this cord. And so if you're basically plugging all of your fans into this hub, and you're good to go. Like, there's not a whole lot that you have to do to manage that. You just plug it in and you should be able to control things. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. The other plug that's important for this, over here, it's powered by SATA. So I'm glad that I did decide to plug in a SATA cable to my power supply, which is already down here ready to go with all its cables connected. That's where it's going to get its power from. And as far as other cabling goes, it has all the regular sort of stuff. Now, if you are an Intel person, this case is particularly convenient because of this little guy right here. Your front panel connector is just one cable. I'm trying to get it so that it's like not blurry, so you can see the F panel on there. You can just plug this right in to the motherboard. You don't have to deal with the little tiny connectors that you normally have to mess with, like on AMD boards. I think that is fantastic. Now, if you are AMD, you basically plug in another little doohickey here that came in a package that I'll show you in a second, and then you have to do it the old-fashioned way, where you plug in each little guy into the correct socket over there on the motherboard. But if you're Intel, you get this advantage. So that's pretty cool. Even though I'm not going to I don't ever plan on putting an Intel CPU into this device or into this case. I just think it's a pretty neat feature. I wish they would do this for AMD, but other cases do. But anyway, if you were curious, I would want to know that this was able to do that, and so it can. As far as the power supply area goes, you can see you got plenty of room to work with in here. Lots of space to stash cables. If you're not real confident about cable management, which in this case, even if you didn't have all this space, they have some really nice cable routing, I guess trenches that you can, I don't know what you want to call them, but then, my goodness, I mean, that just makes it so much easier. But if you're not the best at this, you still have all this space to stash cables. Now, what normally goes in this area here is a little hub for 3.5-inch hard drives. I've already removed that. In fact, I think I just stashed it right over here in this box that it came with, so you can kind of see. I'll show you what it looks like. It's this little guy here, and it just is screwed into the bottom of the case like so, facing out, and you can see the screws right here. You unscrew these from the bottom of the case, and you can pull this right out of there, and voila, you've got a ton of space. I'm not planning on ever putting 3.5-inch hard drives into this PC. I'm likely just going to use these two 2.5-inch drive bays. Sorry, I have the hiccups. Which I have heard you can actually stash in here too. If you want to display your 2.5-inch drives, you can put them here. Now, I'm going to be putting in 2 drives initially. The first one I'm going to put into like today or the next day is going to be the M.2 drive that I'm going to place directly into the motherboard. But the other one I'm going to put in is just a mechanical 2.5-inch 2 terabyte hard drive, the Fire CUDA from Seagate. I'm probably going to just stash him right here. So yeah, I won't need that. Gives me extra space to just stash all kinds of stuff. So I was really impressed with that. Those of you who are curious about where this case's RGB strips are exactly, one of them is right here on the back of this red panel. This really cool removable NZXT panel. Now that's just plugged in already. It's good to go. As far as I understand it, I just have to plug all this stuff into the power supply and the motherboard, and those lights will be on and ready to be controlled with the right software. The other one, the other strip, I don't know, I'm gonna have to come around to the other side. Is right up in there. Yeah, and you can kind of see it. It's already wired and good to go. I might do some more management on that cable. It's kind of, I don't know. It might be something, yeah, I mean, it'll stick out a little bit. So I'm gonna manage that a little bit more so that it's not visible from even that awkward angle. And you can do that. That's the flexibility this case has. It has nice cable management already started for you. If you're not real good at this sort of thing, it's already sort of showing you this is what you do with the cables. Like, it's just made obvious for you. And what's cool is that this thing is connected. You don't have to figure out, okay, where am I gonna put this RGB lighting hub? Where's this controller gonna go? They already did that. They have a space for it, it's plugged in, and you just have to make sure that you get the power to it, and voila, you're good. So I was really, really impressed with this, very, very much. The other feature that I wanted to highlight is the fact that yes, you can mount GPUs vertically instead of horizontally if you want. Now, of course, you'll read online that it's not the best idea to mount your GPU like that, your graphics card, because of airflow issues. Just like most cases that have this option, this case too will probably be plagued by the fact that you're only going to get like this much space between your GPU and the glass side panel that's going to go here. But I'm not too worried about that. I am more interested in the aesthetics. However, this case did not come with a riser cable or card or whatever you want to call it. You're going to need to buy a separate riser card if you want to have your GPU vertical like that instead of horizontal. I'm going to have to just put it in horizontally to start, just because I don't have the riser cable yet, but I definitely plan on in the future putting it right there, just because I think it's going to look fabulous. And I'm not worried about losing like, what, 5% performance. I'm not really concerned about that. So if you're trying to max out the performance, maybe you don't want to do that. Some people say it can cause longevity issues with your cards, but really, how long are you planning on having a GPU? Like, you know, in 3 years, the best new thing is going to be way too much to pass up on. So I don't plan on having this GPU longer than that, and I'm sure it'll last that long at least. This does have the very convenient mounting point here that they put in a lot of modern cases that you don't actually screw into. It just sits on that so that you can center your motherboard very easily. I was also very happy to see that. Another feature that I haven't tried yet that I believe is really convenient about most NZXT cases is that the front, I guess, tray for your front case fans that you can put in here optionally comes out. You just unscrew that guy, you unscrew that guy, and it pops out. You can put your fans on it and then put it back in there. That's very convenient. It's always awkward to try to reach your hand in here and mess around with mounting something, and they've made it that much easier. So this thing is designed for people who want to build PCs, that want a PC to look nice, but don't want to deal with all the hassles. This is laid out conveniently and smartly. I would say the H500 is also intelligent because it was intelligently designed. This one is intelligent, has the I symbol, simply because RGB is made convenient. But I would say that the design for both cases is just it's outstanding. It's phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to building this thing. I have a feeling it's going to be very easy. So if you're considering buying one of these, go for it, man. They look nice. They're solid. They feel nice. They feel like high quality. They're very clean. They're not real flashy, but fairly unique. And so, yeah, I hope this is useful to you. Yeah, thank you for watching.